Hello everyone, my name is Don Emmanuel IRAGANJE, and I just want to talk to you about the three articles that I've read, and the names of those ones are, the first one is Vicious Assault, Shakes Texas Town, and the source is New York Times, which was published on March 8th, 2011, and the second story is Apple announces iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, the biggest advancements in iPhone history. So the source is Apple Press Info, and the date on which it was released, it's 9th September 2014. The third story is the grief. It's called Grief and Protest Follow Shooting of a Teenager. The source is the New York Times, and the date on which it was published, it's on 10th August 2014. Now let's start analyzing if these three stories are independent or self-interested. So the first story, which is Vicious Assault Shakes Texas Town, the person writing the story, or the author, does not have self-interest. He's just reporting what occurred in Texas. While for Apple announces iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, the biggest advancements in the iPhone history, the person writing this story has some self-interest because he's advertising the good things of iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, and he's advertising this as a person who will get some benefits out of it. And the third story, which is the grief, or third article, which is the grief and protest for the shooting of a teenager. So the author does not have self-interest in the story because he's just reporting what took place in Ferguson. Yeah. So tackling the second point, which is multiple sources versus one source. The first article uses multiple sources in this, like Houston Chronicle and Mrs. Harrison, while the second article, which is the biggest investment in iPhone history, the app, the Apple company is the only source that's being presented in this article. So for the third article, grief and protest follow shooting of a teenager, the story has different sources like Chief Belmar, John, and Mayor James, who gives their point of views about the protest. Uh, let's see if those three articles verifies or asserts. So the first story, which is about vicious assault shakes Texas town. So that one asserts because it only interviewed the victims of the rape, but not the rapist. To be verified, the story should have also the rapist interviewed. The second story, which is about Apple announces iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, the story asserts because the theory presented there is not substantiated, or it doesn't have facts or evidences. And the third story, which is called Grief and Protest Follow Shooting of a Teenager, the story verifies the news presented in the article because the president of NAACP, Easter Haywood, and the city councilman Antonio French give testimony about the story. The next point, which is authoritative and informed versus uninformed. The first story, vicious assault shakes Texas town. Um, the story is uninformed because the residents that were supposed to give more details about the incident still have their questions unanswered. So this means that the residents are also less informed. Uh, Regarding the Apple announces iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, the biggest advancement in iPhone history, uh, the story is authoritative and informed because the story is equipped with the details of the Apple products. They demonstrate expertise about Apple 6 and Apple 6 Plus. Third story, which is grief and protest follow shooting of a teenager. The story is authoritative and informed because it demonstrates knowledge of what happened in Ferguson. And now, the next point, which is named and unnamed. The first article, which is titled "Vicious Assault Shakes Texas Town." Um, The sources that the story uses are named. For example, there are Stacy Gatlin, Cleveland Independent School District spokeswoman. There is also Sheila Harrison, who is a hospital worker. Regarding the second article, Apple announces iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, the biggest advancements in iPhone history. Um, the story uses named sources like Tim Cook, who is the chief of the executive officer of Apple. And third article, which is grief and protest follow shooting of a teenager. Um, the source used by this story are named like John Belmar, Esther Haywood, and Lewis Head. Now, in my opinion, the first story, which is vicious assault shakes Texas town. In my opinion, the story is reliable because information comes from several sources, which means it's not biased. But also the author of the story and the date on which the latter was published are mentioned. So this makes me believe this story. Regarding the second article, which is Apple announces iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, the biggest advancement in iPhone history. In my opinion, it's credible because information given about the Apple 6 and Apple 6 Plus is given by the person who is knowledgeable, the CEO, also the author of the story, and the date on which the story was published are provided. Regarding the grief and protest follow shooting of a teenager, so for this article, it's credible because there are several inputs of different people giving their views, which makes me believe them, plus the name of the author and the date which are mentioned. Yeah, they are mentioned. So the questions that I still have for the first article is which is vicious assault shakes Texas town. So some questions that I'm still wondering is I'm still wondering if the rapist have eventually been apprehended, and what were the measures taken by the police to prevent same incident from happening again from reoccurring. The second article, which is Apple announces iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, the biggest advancement in iPhone history. I still have also some questions. I'm wondering how much it will cost a person who's in Africa since we have to pay the shipping fees. I'm wondering how much it will cost a person who is in Africa to have that iPhone 6 Plus since we have to pay the shipping fees. I'm also wondering um, the quality of the picture compared to the previous types of iPhones. At the third article, grief and protests follow shooting of a teenager. I also have a question. Has the policeman who shot Brown been convicted? Second question, have Leslie Marks Payton and her husband Louis had received any sort of compensation from the police? The first article qualifies the news because it's just an information that they let us audience know when we read it. The second article, which is Opel announces iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, the biggest advancement in iPhone history. Um, I don't think this article qualifies as news because the article seems to sensitize people to buy iPhone, and the CEO is just looking for his own benefits. According to me, the CEO is looking for his own benefits and of his company. For the third article, grief and protest follow shooting of a teenager. Uh, I think that this article qualifies as news because it let people know what took place in Ferguson. So for me, I think this is qualifies as news. It just informs people what happened in Ferguson. Yeah, thank you so much.